$100 billion problem in enterprise that nobody is talking about. And this problem is fraud in ads. I have been running ads for last 15 years or so, Meta ads, Google ads, LinkedIn ads. And the problem is bigger now than what it was 15 years ago. And today we are going to dedicate this entire session in terms of what is my personal experience, in terms of dealing with ad frauds, and how you as an enterprise can save billions of dollars of theft that is happening in the industry today. All right. So if you're all ready, let's get started with 100 billion problem, how enterprises can stop ad fraud in real time. Okay, let's get started. All right. So before we start, my name is Ritesh Osta. I run a company called Insightstap, and I'm also one of the top rated Fiverr Pro when it comes to performance marketing and a lot of other areas. Okay. Now with that, let's move on to our big picture. What is the big picture? The global ad fraud losses surpasses $100 billion annually. That's a huge amount of money to be lost on fraud. Okay, so there is a daytime theft going on. Companies are putting money, their revenue, their hard-earned resources into running paid ads, and there are systems out there which is just siphoning off money from these enterprises, and that is running into billions. And the saddest part is that nobody is even talking about it, right? Somewhere there is a muted sense, there is a mute across the industry in terms of talking about it. So today I take this opportunity to talk about it so that you can protect yourself, protect your money, protect your resources against this mega fraud which is going on. Okay. So now, according to the data, nearly 1 in 3 ad interaction today is invalid or bot generated. And this is especially more relevant when it comes to IT service and managed service provider and software agencies around tech. Because more and more tech companies are running ads. And the system has understood that. And when I use the term system, I mean a lot of other stuff. Okay, and I'll talk more about it. So nearly 1 in 3 ad impression clicks are either invalid or bot generated. That means there are bots who are doing this, or it is completely invalid, just a spam. For enterprise, this means budget waste and data corruption. That means you are putting $100,000 on ads, maybe $33,000 you're just wasting on bots and spams and all the other stuff going on. And also your data is getting corrupted. That means the data which is coming into your CRM is corrupted. It is not valid. So there is a cost to store that data and process that data as well, right? So you're losing money there also. And ad fraud isn't just a technical issue, it's an integrity issue. It's a go-to-market integrity issue. So even though a lot of companies, they take ad fraud just as a tech issue, right? But this is also an integrity issue, right? Imagine 33% of your database is just bots. Imagine 33% of your CRM contact list is just bots. These are spam emails. This is going to corrupt your entire data system. So these are the big picture when it comes to problem. The problem is humongous. And the problem is so humongous and it's been going on for so long that I thought it's about time that somebody needs to step up and talk about it. So today we're going to talk about it. And I know we are talking to a community, and I think we need to work as a community to deal with this gigantic, enormous problem which is plaguing industries today. So this is how it works. So there is ad fraud, which generates fake clicks on your ads, Google, Meta, LinkedIn. Then that creates distorted data in your CRM and your data warehouses. That means you get fake emails and fake contact details and other stuff. Then you work on that data, which is wrong data, wrong optimization. You need to clean it up. So that means extra resources that you need to put. So which means extra cost to your company, which also leads to lost ROI. So if 1/3 of your ad is, the ad click data or ad interaction data is a fake data, that means you have lost 1/3 of your resources in ad budget, and also you have lost a huge amount of resources, managing those fake data, removing those fake data, right? So there is a continuous waste loop which is happening, and then every fake signal fuels bad spend. Correct? There is a spam email, there's a bot that has clicked, you got a spam email, the email came down to your CRM, your sales rep, took all the effort of reaching out to that particular email only to find out that this is a bogus company or a fake company and a fake person with a fake email ID and all of that. That happens, and that has happened over the recent years so much that I was compelled to make this particular video. Right? And if you are somebody who's been dealing with this problem, just comment in the comment section. I think we need to invite more people to talk about it. And this is a problem that needs to be dealt across the industry. All right, now why it matters, especially for large CMOs, the CMOs of the companies, why it really matters? Because every bot click misguides your AI and CRM data models. Correct? Every bot click, because now we have this integrated GTM systems that we are building. That means the GTM system, along with the CRM and the CDPs and the data warehouse, it is basically monitoring every interaction. So for example, if there is a bot coming up and signing up in your app, that is being stored and that is being processed. So there is a lot of energy and resources that is going on processing this data. And every bot click or every spam data misguides all these models, the AI model as well as the CRM models. Every fake lead wastes sales cycles and ad spend. So you're not just spending money on ad and you are losing it, but it's also wasting ad cycles, sales cycles. The salespeople are spending time, either following up or cleaning it up. In any way, they could have done better job, if this was not the case. Fraud creates false signals that damage precision targeting. The reason why I'm using the term fraud here is because this is an actual fraud. Okay, I have seen across the industry, people use different terms. I've seen that. Okay, they don't use the term fraud because they personally feel that this is a very powerful word to use. But I sincerely now feel that the correct usage of the grammar is important when dealing with this subject. This is fraud. Many of this is very deliberate, and many of this is just good old-fashioned fraudsters working behind the scene and siphoning and looting of money from different companies. Okay, so we need to say as it is, and so in these videos, we are going to at least try to uncover some of the secrets behind it so that you can prepare yourself against this fraud which is going on. CMOs are losing not just money, but they're also losing marketing truth. I mean, if 1/3 of your data is spam and bot, and your sales teams are just wasting time, imagine the kind of friction that will create between the team. Okay, I've seen where situations in which the sales team and the CIO team, they are sitting and then they are just, talking about the fact that most of the leads that are coming from marketing is just bogus leads. And this is not, I'm not talking about small companies, I'm talking about large companies that I've been working with. Bogus leads, and people are just, and the marketing team sometimes have no idea of how to stop that. Okay, so today we are going to equip you with the tools and the techniques and the technologies so that you can, better handle it if you're not aware of this problem in the industry. So why it matters, especially for you as a CMO, because clean data means reliable signal, means smarter targeting and predictable pipeline. right? Clean data is super important. And the cleaner your data is, the better, your pipeline will look like. So let's talk about the growing threat of ad fraud. Okay. So ad fraud, initially I thought this is just, one of incidents happening here and there. That's what I used to think 10 years back. But over the time, sadly, unfortunately, I came down to a conclusion that this is not a one-off case. There are teams, there are people whose entire livelihood depends on it. Okay. There are thousands and thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands or millions of people. I don't know the number. But there are the agencies, and then there are people out there whose full-time job is ad fraud. And that's the sad reality I came across myself when I started diving deep into it, over the years when I've been working, especially with enterprise ads. Okay. So ad fraud is an industrial scale operation. It is an operation. It is just like a mafia. All right. It is no different than the mafia. It is no different than hackers. They operate as systems. They operate as teams. They operate like a mafia, and they are very well organized. Okay. So some of the names to this is click farms, botnets, spoofed domain, fake users. I don't know how many of you will agree on that or not, but there are millions of fake users across all the social media platforms. I'm not going to take any name of any particular social media platform because that's not the point. But the point here is that there are fake users in millions, running in millions across different social media platforms and other platforms which are fake users. And those are not just fake by chance. Those are created deliberately. There is a method behind this madness, right? There are method behind spoofed domains, botnets, click farms. There's a method to this madness. I initially thought that this was just a small problem, the companies might be facing here and there, but this is not a small problem. There are mafias, ad mafias, which are running large organizations who are siphoning off billions out from different, companies. And it's like a drain which needs to be stopped, right? 30% of web traffic is non-human. That's the scale of problem that we're talking about. 30% of all web traffic is non-human. Imagine that. Okay, 30%. That means if you're spending $100,000, then there's a good chance that you are spending $30,000 on, on these fake leads. Fraud undermines campaign trust, analytics, and revenue attribution. Absolutely. So it undermines the campaign trust. If the campaign is running and it's just bringing spams and bots, you're going to stop the campaign, right? It undermines the analytics. It messes up the analytics data. It messes up the revenue attribution. It messes up all the data. And if the mess up was 3%, it could have been handled. But if the mess up is 30%, then it becomes a big problem for any organization. And this problem is growing. It is not slowing down. And I see that there are very few agencies, even the government agencies, doing anything about it. Okay, it's a very hard problem to solve. And the people sometimes, that we are dealing with are spread across the world. Okay. I'm not going to take the names of individual countries as well, because that's not the point of this webinar. I can take the names of people and countries and look, but that's not the point, because what I have understood is it is a problem throughout the globe. Okay, and initially you might come across a conclusion that, oh, this is a problem with this particular industry or this particular geography. That's not the case. Across the geography, I have seen this problem, and it has no dimensions. This has no geography. All right, so the global threat is $100. Sorry, this is not $100. It's $100 billion. I'm sorry for that. $100 billion of annual losses across 30% fake traffic, eroded trust in channels. The companies lose trust on channels, whether it is Google ads or Meta ads or LinkedIn ads or any other channels that we talk about. And broken attribution models. They really don't know what is bringing good leads and what is bringing bad leads, right? The attribution model itself breaks down under this pressure. So what ad fraud looks like? Okay, this is how it looks like. Okay, if you're running enterprise level campaigns, say for example, in large tech company, you are a large tech company or an IT service company or a managed service provider, and you're running ads. These kind of companies are number one target for these these farms, or fraud farms. The reason for that is because the competition is very high in software tech. The reason why I'm using the term software tech is because I come from this particular industry myself, and I have run most of my ads in this particular industry. Having said that, there are thousands of other industries, and I'm pretty sure that this problem is rampant across other industries as well. But for this webinar purpose, I'm just going to talk about this particular industry because this is where my personal experience comes from. So if you're running an IT service company, managed service provider, software development company, these are the number one prime target of these click farms. Okay, because they know very well that the companies are willing to spend a lot. They know very well that the companies are targeting only certain geographies. For example, they target US and UK and all these Germany and France and like so on. They exactly understand, that the real estate, the keywords are very limited, right? For example, if I'm doing software development, then I'll use the term software development, right? So the real estate or the keywords are very limited, right? The intent is very limited. So they know that there's a bunch of intent. Everybody is targeting that. So if you want to target this particular industry around these areas, that is where I'll be able to take most amount of money, right? It also happens in e-commerce and other areas, but I'm not going to talk about those industry. For my experience sake, I'm going to just talk about the tech. Okay. So the common tactics impacting enterprise campaign is clickbots, fake engagement at scale, just bots coming and interacting with your ads, clicking on your ads, landing up on your landing page, scrolling your landing page. Click farms, human assisted form. Okay, that means there are people, thousands and thousands, maybe millions. I don't know what is the exact number, but I'm pretty sure it is pretty large. There are human beings sitting across the world, and their job is just sit and click. That's it. It sounds very, what do you say, depressing, but this is the sad reality. They will sit, and there is a way by which they will bypass the IP tracking and other stuff. They use VPNs and other technology, and then they will just keep clicking. That's it. That's all. Okay, and ad stacking. Okay, invisible impression. Right, so ad stacking is another problem. That means ads are just duplicated, okay, and stacked, and it creates some invisible impressions. Spoof size, false publisher data. So if you're using GDN or any display network, okay, Meta display network, GDN, Taboola, whatever you're using, they rely on this publisher data, correct? For example, you're using GDN or Taboola. Taboola in turns have partnership with millions of publishers like Forbes and and all of that. I'm just taking an example here. And the trust is that those publishers will publish ads on behalf of these platforms, right? So these platforms, they behave like a mediator, aggregator, and then they in turn, publish your ads to those publishers. Okay, and every time somebody clicks, you pay the money, and a little bit of money will go to the publisher, and some money will go to the aggregator like Taboola and Google Display Network and like so on. So there is a trust framework which is built, but that is very easily taken advantage of. Imagine you create thousands and thousands of publisher sites, and you become partner to these display networks like Taboola and Meta and Google Display Networks. Okay, and then you put thousands or hundreds of thousands of people in your network just to click on ads, right? So the ads are coming up, and then there is a human being, they will just click. Since there is a click, the signal will go back to the display network that, hey, there was a click, and and then the money will be deducted from your account because you are paying for the bill. So somebody is paying the bills, correct? And those fake publishers are making money, and then they are distributing some of those money into to those people who are sitting and clicking, right? It's a very rampant problem. It's actually very hard to track those. And, that has been, I've been seeing this for many years. And then fake leads, bot filling of the forms. This is another problem. That means bots coming up, they're clicking on ad, they're landing up on your landing page, they're even filling up the form. You are running ads, you're paying money to Google and the Metas and the LinkedIn, expecting real people to come, your customers to come and prospects to come and fill up the form, but instead some bot is coming and then they are clicking on your ad. So the Google is making money, Meta is making money, LinkedIn is making money, but you're not getting a real person, you're getting just a bot filling up the form. So it's actually hard to blame just the platform or put the finger on just one individual, because this is a systematic problem that needs to be tackled systematically, right? So the outcome is invalid traffic, wasted budget, false signals. That's the outcome of this entire thing. What ad fraud looks like is this: click bots, click forms, ad stacking, spoofed ads, okay, and fake impressions. All of this works together and create invalid traffic and budget drain and distorted analytics and brand risk. This is how in reality it looks like. Okay. So let's talk about the ad fraud tools. Okay. So now that we have talked about the ad fraud itself, we'll move on to the ad fraud tools. Okay. So I'm going to just jump right into the discussions on how to prevent it. Okay. The question is how to prevent it. So over the years, there are various technology, there are various techniques that we have used, and this is continuously evolving. It's more like a hacker space where you have to continuously stay one step ahead of in the game in order to protect yourself. So this space also looks like that, but thankfully there are a lot of companies and then there are a lot of tools that has come up which can help you, prevent this ad fraud. So we're going to talk about some of those tools, and we're going to continue creating this kind of content in the coming days, where we'll talk more about the solutions. So today, we are going to focus on some of the tools. There are more solutions out there, and hopefully we'll create more content around that as well. So let's talk about the tools. Okay, how ad fraud tools work. Okay, that means ad fraud tools means the tools which prevents ad fraud. Okay, the idea is real time. You are running ads on real time and you want things to work in real time. Okay, if the bots are coming and filling up the form and you are able to detect after 3 days, I think you have lost the battle, right? So the battle can only be won if it can be done as real as possible, as real time as possible. Okay, so there needs to be real time detection and filtering through multi-layer checks. As I said, this is very similar to how antiviruses work. Okay, this whole problem is very similar to how the companies deal with the hacker problem. And I think that's the right method to deal with this particular problem. Okay. So how the ad fraud tools work, okay, in real time. One is behavioral fingerprinting. That means you can check the behavior. Okay, that means if there's a bot coming, the bot might be visiting 10 pages in less than 3 seconds or maybe less than 1 second. Now that's the problem with behavior, right? Why? Because human beings will not visit 10 pages in less than 1 second. Correct? Right? Of course, as I said, this is a cat and mouse game. So, they are creating bots which mimics human behavior as much as possible. It's a game. The game is on. The game is going to go on, and I think it all depends on whether you can stay one step ahead in the game or not. So behavioral fingerprinting, device ID validation, right? That means from the device that those clicks and those bots are coming, but whether the device can be validated. IP and geo intelligence, right? What is the geography by which they are coming, right? You're running ads in US, whether the clicks are actually coming from US, that's a question that needs to be answered, right? So IP and geo intelligence needs to be verified, and also frequency and time pattern recognition. How often this is happening? What is the pattern? So there are pattern recognition technology by which they can recognize the patterns, and if the pattern shows any signs of problems, it generally detects those problems, right? The idea is that only verified traffic reaches your GTM stack. The idea is to prevent at the source so that your GTM stack, your CRM, your data warehouse do not get corrupted by this data. And also at the same time, you save on ad budget as much as possible. I know it's super hard to 100% stop it, but if you take certain steps right, you can prevent it to a large extent. Okay, so this is how it works. So user data fraud scoring engine. So there are engines which are designed to score the fraud. If the score goes across a certain number, then it will flag those user data as fraud. Okay, as fraud data. Then also device fingerprinting. It will check out the device, the geo and frequency filters, automated block, and then it will do the automated blocking. Right. So if it follows all the filters and it matches some of the criteria, then basically it is automatically blocked, right? Which will prevent those fake traffic to come into your system, right? So which will encourage clean traffic to come for verified conversion. So that's how the ad fraud tools work. Okay, in principle, okay, there's a fraud scoring engine, device fingerprinting, geo and frequency filters, and automated blocking. These are the four major principle under which many of these tools work. Okay, and then there are many other techniques also that is used by companies that we have personally used apart from these tools to prevent this problem. So what does your enterprise grade solution means? Okay, when we're talking about an enterprise grade solution, what do you need? You need accuracy beyond click blocking. Okay, that means just putting a click blocker is not going to help you fully. Okay, you need to have a complete accuracy when it comes to signal verification. So you have to block the click, and also you have to verify all the ones which are coming up into your system. Then there needs to be a double verification within your system whether this is actually accurate or not, whether this is actually real or not. So there needs to be 2 layers of protection at least. There needs to be compatibility with ad network. Okay, so you got to create systems which are compatible with ad networks and the analytics systems and the product analytics and the web analytics system that are compatible with ad networks and that can work with the ad networks. API to sync and CRM and CDP, and transparent reporting for marketing ops and RevOps, right? So the idea is prevent the data, fake data from coming, but still there will be some fake data which will come in. Work on those fake data. Use the compatibility with the ad network. Use the APIs from CRM, CDP, verify it, enrich it. Okay, do double layer of verification, and then create a reporting around that for your marketing ops and RevOps team, right? So that they can manually also identify and detect, right? So by the time the manual detection comes, there's different layers of operations that has already gone in, and a lot of stuff can be automated, and AI can also be used in this process very well. I think there are companies who are working on it. AI can very well be used in this. There are a lot of manual checks that can be replicated using AI. Okay, so I sincerely feel in this particular industry and this problem, AI can help a lot. Okay, especially in terms of detection, blocking, without human interaction as much as possible using AI. Okay, so I think there's a very good use case application of AI. And I sincerely see that there are companies who are, the security companies who are already working on this field. Maybe we'll create more content around that in the coming days. Please comment below on that, and we'll do bring some people to talk about this. Okay, so this is the fraud detection tool feature stack: real-time scoring, device fingerprinting, geo-blocking, frequency control, behavioral biometrics, custom rules, and then after that, put the custom rules, integration API, and then comprehensive reporting dashboards. So after the at the custom rules and integration API and comprehensive reporting dashboard, this is where the humans will come into the picture to solve the problem, right? Okay. So this whole system, this whole fraud detection stack, tool stack, needs to be built if you want to, put up an enterprise grade solution. Okay. So the implementation workflow, how to implement it? The deploying the ad fraud production within your ad ecosystem. Okay. So once you have identified that, hey, there is a problem there needs to be an implementation workflow. Okay. The workflow generally goes like this. You configure the detection rules. You put up the tools to set, and then you configure the detection rules. So you've got to set those rules, right? Integrate with ad platforms, whether it's Google, Meta, LinkedIn, whatever it is. Install verification pixels. Okay, so you've got to put the pixels, the verification pixels there. Monitor in real time, so there'll be a real-time monitoring of these ads and also on the landing pages and other places, okay? And optimize based on these ads, right? So a lot of stuff will be automated. That means these fraud blocker tools will block the bots from filling up the form or doing a button click and like so on, all right? So that you don't waste your money, okay, on ads. Okay, so these are the 5-step rule: configure rules, integrate ad platform, install the pixels, monitor the reports, and optimize. Okay, and at some point of time, you also have to put your human beings, the RevOps and the marketing teams, and the data analytics team to continuously work on top of it. What we have seen is 32% reduction in wasted impression. That's what we have seen. Cleaner CRM, more accurate attribution, better audience quality, higher conversion, lower CSE, improved ROS, and restored trust in data. That's what we have seen, 30 to 50% reduction. It's a huge benefit. Okay, if you do it right, it's going to completely transform how you're running your paid ads. So fraud prevention helps you with cost saving, better analytics, stronger ROI, and brand trust and efficiency. Now, the follow-up question you might have is, hey, what are those tools? We are going to talk about those tools as well, in the upcoming content. But some of the basics, techniques, and tools. The first thing that we typically do is the CAPTCHA and the Cloudflare. Okay. These are the basic. If you are not doing anything, this is what we would suggest you to start. The basics, right? Put CAPTCHA on your landing pages and your forms, okay, to verify the human users in real time. Okay. If you're using Cloudflare, then Cloudflare has firewall filters traffic at network edge. It has it. It's a very good platform. If you're not using Cloudflare, we use Cloudflare very extensively. It's super good when it comes to the firewall filters. And if you can just put CAPTCHA and say Cloudflare firewall filters, they will block almost 50 to 60% of the non-human traffic before it enters the camera. It's very simple. It's very basic. But I still see a lot of companies simply, they're ignoring it. If you're not having a lot of bots and fraud traffic coming in, then you don't have to do it. Okay, but if you are suffering from this problem, then this is where we suggest our customers to start. The basics. Okay, these are the basics. Generally, the bot fails, most of it, okay, at this stage. So the Cloudflare also has the firewall, okay, and the bot management layer, okay, and you can also implement CAPTCHA from that. It has a very comprehensive system, okay, which can easily handle 50% of your problem right away, okay, as a scalable defenses. All right, so these are some case studies. We will talk about the case studies in the coming days as well. One of the e-commerce companies we work with eliminated 24% of the invalid traffic, plus 15% ROS. SaaS, we work a lot. Integrated invisible CAPTCHA, reduced CSE by 20%. And in one of the finance cases, we deployed Cloudflare AI filters and compliance safe data. And we also used some fraud blocker tools and gave us very, very good results. Okay, I don't think so. In today's webinar, we are going to talk about specific tools and usage and case studies, but in the coming days, just comment, okay, on the comment section. If you want more of it, we'll create more of it. We want your interaction. We always get requests for a lot of different type of content to create. So if you're going to comment below, and if we see that there is enough interest there, we will go ahead and create more such content. Okay. So spam filters, firewall, clean traffic, real ROI. That's the whole point. Okay. Invisible capture. Okay. IP filters. Okay. All of this can be used directly, can be done from a technical point of view, or you can use, some of the fraud blocker tools which are available out there. Okay. The IP filters and IP blockers and all of that, right? And a lot of stuff also depends on how you set up the campaign. A lot of security can be done on how you set up your campaigns as well. Maybe we'll have a separate session on security of the campaigns and the way you set up the campaign. So we'll talk about those as well. If you do the settings right, if you have the strategy right, there's a lot of problems that can be solved at the campaign level. So we'll talk about more as well. So the signal integrity flywheel, I will talk about this subject more, but this is just a sneak peek. The signal integrity flywheel, that means all the signals that we are getting, especially on paid ads, whether the integrity is there or not. Okay. So the future is not just ad fraud prevention. The future is not just about blocking those bots and fake users. No. The future is more than that. The future is also continuous verification at your own, data GTM stack. Verification at CRM, CDPs, data warehouses, continuously monitoring, enriching, updating, blocking, removing, and automation and AI can play a very important role in this. Okay. The goal, the future of what we are calling as the signal integrity flywheel is to create a GTM engine that can learn, clean, and optimize in real time without you having to spend a lot of time and resources and human beings, doing that manually. Right? That's the future. Detect, verify, activate, measure, and create a continuous loop. Okay. So the GTM cleansing cycle, we say. So we are building that. We are exploring this area, and thanks to AI and automation, things are becoming more and more interesting. And we are going to explore more and more on this in the coming days. Okay, so if you're a CMO, this is the action plan. Run an ad integrity audit. Okay, qualify, the outcome should be to identify the fake versus valid signals. Integrate with CRM and CDP, real-time signal cleaning, right? So you've got to build the workflows and the automations and use AI if as much as needed. And for that, you need to put the rules as well, right? So all those things needs to be done as part of the audit. Okay, sync marketing and operations. Okay, so unified signal governance. So there needs to be a governance body within the organization, which is going to be a sync between marketing ops, revenue ops, and sales teams. Try to automate as much as possible. A lot of stuff which is repetitive, which you need human beings to do repetitive stuff, you can automate it, create workflows, use AI, and then, create reports, and attributions, right? So continuously monitor that. Okay, that's the action plan. If you're a CEO, it's a 5-step action plan. Please reach out to us if you want us to do an audit. We'll be happy to do that. And we are also going to create more content around these action plans and the execution plans. So audit, integrate, align, automate, and report. That's the 5-step process you got to create. Okay, which is what we call as a continuous signal integrity cycle. Signal integrity is what we are calling it. So if you look at from the higher level, from the 30,000 feet view, it is not just a cost problem. It is also a signal integrity. It is not about just you losing, a bunch of resources and money on running ads, which is getting your fake leads and bots. It's also about the integrity problem. Your data integrity can be compromised. Okay, your data, the clean data should be equal to accurate signals and predictable growth. Okay, your marketing team might say, hey, you know what, we have given you 10 leads. And then, after 1 month, your sales team will come and say, out of those 10 leads, 9 of them were fake, bad. That is a problem that, I've been seeing across industry. And imagine what it does with the morale of the sales team and the RevOps team and the data, right? Protect your signals and your GTM engine never stalls. Okay, so this is not just a cost problem, it's also a signal integrity problem, is what we are emphasizing more and more in the coming days. Fraud detected, blocked, clean data, accurate insights, stronger ROI. That's the path that you got to take. I think this session was, it was just covering the very surface level of the problem that we're talking about. We are going to dive deep into this problem. We are dealing with this problem every single day as a performance marketer ourselves. We have been dealing with this problem for a very long time. We'll talk more on this. We'll bring our experts, technical experts as well in these sessions. And we will also give out all the learnings and the solutions that we are implemented for our clients in real time, okay, which is going to help you out. So please do like and subscribe to our channel if you have not. Please comment below if you want more content. If you have something to share, please go ahead and share it. Reach out to us on LinkedIn and our email. We are very active on LinkedIn and Twitter and other places. We are building a community of people who understands GTM. Okay, our goal is to train, teach, equip companies with GTM teams, which is efficient and fast. So join us in our journey. Thank you so much for staying in this webinar. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.